There we go. I do believe we are live. So I'll say indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you for joining me again. I am indoors because it's windy outside. And I tried to do yoga in the wind and I was getting frustrated. So we moved it inside, but right now, maybe the wind will calm down in the meanwhile. Pippi just joined me on the couch as well. It's nice having you friends here with me. Sending you all eternal blessings. For some reason, suddenly things don't look level. Please, OCD, free me. Flesh colored couches, gang, gang. I knew, like, as I was sitting down, my mind was going, flesh covered, flesh colored couches. And there you are, too. Hey, Shannon. Day 966, battery at 66%. As I was getting ready, there's six friends joining us as well. As I was getting ready, it was 6 minutes past as well when I hit the live button. Go, joining us too today. Of course, Joy V, beloved Shan, sending you all so many lovin's. Let's open chat. Kind of like this placement. Me being super relaxed, relaxing harder. There we go. It's nice having you friends here. Oh no. Shh. Instantly starts hearing my own voice. Except, oh, flesh colored couches return. Of course, hey brother Duck Dad, sending you blessings as well, man. Let's read something worth saying before we get really into it. I'm gonna look for one instead of just picking one randomly. Because we have a stream topic for today, I probably should introduce it. Today's stream topic was inspired by dreams again. You know, I had this moment this morning where I didn't want to get up. I was tired. You know, in that moment where you want to keep setting your alarm for later and you keep adding more time to your sleep time. And in the last, like maybe 20 minutes or so of me sleeping, I had this weird dream space that was trying to communicate to me the importance of the waking world, right? Very much of the importance, right? Like the waking world is important. And I'm supposed to use my dreams to establish that importance, right? Thinking about it from the perspective of our pets as well, they dream. They also dream. They go to different worlds. They chase squirrels or whatever they do in their little dream spaces, and then they come back to this one, and they fear death, right? Like it might be a weird point to take, but they very much understand that they appreciate living, you know, despite the fact that they have access to this higher dimensional world. I wonder if they remember. Part of me is like wondering about that as well. Like, do they remember their dreams the way that we do? Like, is Pippi longing for that, you know, squirrel that she chased as she chews her foot? Yum, 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 yum. Chew food, chew food. I chew my foot. Yum, 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 yum. She's like, what are you? Stop making fun of me, bro. Okay. Man, like this thing feels unlevel and it's tripping me out. How's that? Better. It is better. Unaffected. No. Yeah, this is the one. You, as a soul, as a divine spark of consciousness, are deliberately choosing to create forms of communication, right? To connect that to this outer world, realizing that we can use this outer world as a form of communication, that I can literally, in this outer world, use my voice, use my hands to write things, use my body to create things. And then that can be seen as a type of communication to the world. And at the same time, we communicate to ourselves, at least I believe we do, through the dream space. You know, I wonder about the dream space a lot. I wonder what it means, right? I wonder why. If it's only like an evolutionary thing to keep us alive, right? Some people believe that we dream to almost like have an iterative approach to problem solving. You know, and they did studies on this where they would play like an oscillating frequency or an oscillating sound, like tick, 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 in a rat maze while these rats were trying to solve the mazes. And they had their brains connected to electrodes so they could see the neuro signaling as they were trying to solve the maze, right? And every single time that little tick sound was registered by the little brains, it would create a wave pattern. Peppy, please stop eating your feet. I don't like them sounds. Please. Bothers me so much, right? And then when they would go to sleep, those little frequencies, those little spikes in their neural activity. There we go, live again. They were still trying to solve those mazes, but at 10 times the speed, right? So I wonder about that in comparison to, like, if for instance some of your friends might have played games, right? And if you play for a long time, when you try and go to sleep, you'll find yourself seeing that world, right? Like you will be iterating in that world to try and get better at maybe the game you're playing. And I'm wondering if that if it's possible, if it's a manipulation thing, right? Are we being trained to dream certain things? Like there's a whole show that came out on Netflix called Sandman, and they had a really cool concept there talking about how humans basically dreamt about a better world and ended up creating that world essentially from nothing, right? That the cats used to be the rulers of our planet and they would eat the humans, and there we go, live again. My internet is getting better. Actively. Actively, my internet is getting better. It's fantastic, even. It's so good. Let me say hi to you, friends, some more. Again, lovings to you, Coco. We have Kristen here too, Jazil, blessings, Duck Dad, and Jovan, Lawazana, and Sam. It's so nice having you friends here. Okay, drop my wife's phone from chest high directly, corner down on my pinky toe. I'll spare you pictures, but oh brother, am I ouchie county. Putting my boot on this morning was eye-opening. The waking world, right? That's what I'm feeling right now, Duck Dad. Is that the wake? Every single time my phone disconnects from the internet, I experience pain as well, right? The waking world can be painful sometimes. I appreciate you friends bearing with me. I'm sorry that you hurt your foot, Brother Bear. I hope it heals quickly. Morning to all. Love again to you, Duck Dad. Whoa, check out all these beautiful faces. Joy and Shan and Coco and Duck. Kristen and Jazil. Future Sam, future Louisiana, future Lisa, future Nancy, Melton Moore. Running to a meeting now. I shall return. Good luck. Be your loving self. Go and be the expression of love in your space as well. That sounds painful. I hope your toe feels better soon. Love is true. Thank you for covering my sign off yesterday. I was all smiles when I listened to stream on my way home. Freaking love you, as we do you, Shan. You were here, even if you weren't here. There's Lois, too. Blessings to you. Oh, when I first got addicted to the game Snood. Hey, Google. The game Snood.
Snood includes snood.
Oh, thank you, Google. Snood includes Snood. If you were wondering what game Snood is Snood. Thank you. That seems like such an old school game. I would definitely go to bed, close my eyes, and see Snoods. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like I'm happy that some of you friends are connecting to this idea, because I'm trying to think about it, and I've been noticing this in myself, right? Where I'll see, imagery that I don't know if it's indicative to a better future, right? And then I try to take that information and see how I can apply it to my life, apply it to my dream state. There's this whole, theory. Neville Goddard was talking about it as well, where as you're going to sleep, you should be manifesting, right? Like seeing the ideal future that you want to be living into. And if I find myself too preoccupied with other ideas, it's almost like it's hard for me to almost like wrangle myself back into being able to see what I want to see. And I'm happy that you're connecting with that as well. Present Sam, love is true. So much love. I had a dream once where I had health, happiness, and entertainment bars on some sort of hub. I backed off playing Sims after that for a while. That's kind of hilarious. Wouldn't it be easier? Wouldn't it be easier if we could do that? A part of me feels like it might be a little bit dystopian. Let me just make sure that I'm using the right word. Hey, Google, Define dystopian.
Here's the definition of dystopian: relating to or denoting an imagined state or society where there is great suffering or injustice.
I mean, if we're going to attach suffering to wanting for things to be differently, and you have little bars at the bottom of your like eye, like imagine like you're seeing your world, but those bars go down, and it would be this another rat race essentially of like keeping our bars filled. While at the same time, I do see a certain level of value in that, right? If I notice my fitness bar going down, I can go for a walk or do some yoga or go and do some pull-ups or some push-ups or whatever, and I can see my little fitness bar fill, dehydrated, refill my little hydration bar. Because a part of me actually want that, right? Like I would like to understand with a little bit more certainty what it is my body needs to function optimally, right? Like what can I do for myself to make sure that I have a little bit more of a happy waking world, essentially. There's definitely going to be a sleep bar. I think my sleep bar is probably the most damaged right now. I'm not sleeping too little. I'm just sleeping very erratically, right? I find myself having difficulty sleeping at night these days. I did get my remedy, by the way, Shan. I got it today. I already took some. So thank you for that as well. Yes, Joe, I heard this too. I'm anxiously awaiting for him to pop in so I can thank him too. You friends are just the bestest. Joe Schmo? Yeah, he did. So love him even more. Snoot, such a good game. Hello, Nancy. Blessings to you, friend. It's nice having you. Sam, I had Sims related dreams too. Like I would have to click on someone to see options of what I could say to them. This extensively. One of the things that I would actually like a hub in my eyes, right? And if the technology comes around and I can replace my eyeballs, I probably will. It sounds like such a weird intro to a conversation, but for good reasons, for social reasons, right? Where you could technically, I want to say, appear more loving, right? Even though I feel like that's wrong to say, to want to appear more loving to the outer world. But essentially, how I kind of consider it is care, right? Where, for instance, if you have a conversation with someone and you tell them about, let's say you're an artist, right? And you're working on a new painting, right? And now me and you have this conversation, and you tell me, oh, my name is Sam, for example. You know, I'm Sam. I'm working on this new painting. And then we go our separate ways again. And then maybe we come together again at an event. I would like, right? And I don't know if this is wrong. So let me know what you think about it. I would like a hub in my eye that, as I look at you, tells me this is Sam. The last time you talked together, you were talking about this painting, right? So now I can be like, oh yeah, this is Sam, and we're having this conversation about her painting. So I can be like, hey Sam, how did your painting turn out, right? And then instantly, even if I didn't, physically with my brain goop remember that, me recalling that information from my hub and telling you that, right, caring enough to tell you that I've chosen to store that information will still make you feel important, right? Because that's one of the things that we want as human beings, is to feel important, to feel like we contribute to the world, to feel like we have value in someone else's eyes, right? In someone else's eyes. And that value, in my mind, can be stored as information, where if you remember something about someone, what they told you about their lives, and you bring that up in a conversation, it makes them feel like you're listening, like you actually care about that person. And I'm like in a weird fractal of, does it matter, right? If the person doesn't actually care about you. For instance, let's say, 20 years pass and this technology is pretty much synonymously available, and someone comes up to me who I haven't seen in years, and they instantly start referencing these informational points, and I feel a certain way. They might not. Whoa, I'm getting such deja vu right now. Oh, this is kind of surreal. Okay. And they care about employees. This is too much. And I feel cared about. right? Even if they don't care about me, if I feel cared about, isn't that what's valuable? Right? That's the way that I'm trying to think about it, at least. So yeah, how about that? Yeah, paprikis. Someone option. I had Sims related dreams too. Click on someone again. I had many addictive phases with The Sims. I had to put that game down so many times. I used to play The Sims when I was a teenager. I think I played Sims 2, at most Sims 3. I remember being very into it. Right. I remember going to like there's like this store called CNA, I think, or something like that, and they would have the DLCs of the Sims games like on their countertops, and they were like $5 essentially for like the game. And I remember like really almost like getting antsy, wanting my dad to buy me these games, but they were DLCs, right? So you had to have the base game, and then you could load these extra games onto the Sims game, creating like more little fractals for you to explore in that space. And I remember my dad kind of buckling and buying me this DLC, and then me being extremely frustrated because I couldn't play said DLC. And then it like completely killed my enthusiasm for the whole game, and I haven't picked it up again since. I've been like, yeah, nah. Yeah, let's go get them. I've used that falling asleep method before, and it worked big time. I do believe in it, Nanjin. I really do. I've seen it work in my life as well. You can do it in meditation as well. You don't have to do it just, going to sleep and dreaming. Even now, I think about downloading the first one of GOG just for the nostalgia joy. I mean, in moderation, right? I've been thinking about playing Hogwarts Legacy. That's the game that's calling to me right now. I want to be able to, again, right, from this perspective of manifesting, right, where I imagine if games have this power to create this iterative process in my mind where I'm going to imagine myself in that world state, and I'm going to try and like iterate and problem solve on a biological level to get to that point, what type of game do I want to expose myself to in an approach to try and get to the future I want to get to? And like I was like been thinking about this a lot, and I'm like, yeah, being a magic user sounds like the kind of process I want to iterate in my brain. So it's been calling to me. We'll see. Even now, love is true. Sure, nostalgia, not that addiction itch. Exactly. In your brain. Addiction? Where? Yeah, I'm so happy you got it, Melt. Love is true. Thank you. I also got Daniel's package, finally. He sent it to me last year, October. Apparently, it's been there since November, but there was no number and no local address on the package. So it was just been laying there in the post office this whole time. And then finally today, my family asked for Meltmore's package, and they actually got it. So I'm super grateful for that. I think Sims 2 was my favorite. There's a drag queen named Juno Birch, who does these hilarious YouTube videos of herself playing Sims 2. It is the one with all the aliens, of course. She started making them during pandemic lockdowns, and then it turned into a whole thing. It's cool how these niches, can find people. Like I feel like there's so many. Some of them have been calling to me, but like I'm tripping about like burnout, all right? How much do I want to do in comparison to what I feel I should do, right? Those dreams we have essentially, and then realizing that implementing them in the waking world might be a little bit more difficult than we might anticipate. Man, I would love a good augmented reality hub. Excess memory on these devices would almost certainly include terabytes of cat pictures. My terabytes would be filled with useless, at least conceptually useless facts. Hey, sending you lovin's. It's nice having you here, Shelly. Yeah, probably facts, right? Just interesting little tidbits, essentially. Terabytes and terabytes of it, right? I look at a blade of grass and I'm like, did you know? This blade of grass, so and so, and people are like, oh, Why is this person telling me about grass? I love deja vu. Like the deja vu, I also do usually appreciate it, but the way I just experienced it, the context of it, was the thing that took me for a loop, right? Because I was imagining myself in the future, 20 years in the future, in a certain hyper technological state of reality, and then it was like that state of reality as all is already existing, and me thinking about it was me connecting to it, and me connecting to it felt like I've already experienced this, and that version of me then is looking back at this version of me talking about it, and it was like it was too much for a second. Just watching the chipmunks chase each other around the park, that sounds so cute. Just love is true. I'm in North Carolina, North California. We don't have chipmunks. The first time I saw one was coding. A friend in Midwest. I had no idea what it was. I'm just imagining this deep sense of shock. It's like, the fuck is that? What is that? But it's probably like a, what is that? What monster? What creature is living amongst us? Louisiana, first sip rules. That first sip is so good, ain't it? Coffee, I'm guessing? Yeah, probably. Lurkers I've never met. Chipmunks are awesome. We've had about 5 living around mom and dad's in Maine. I mean, for me, to be completely honest, I didn't really know chipmunks were a thing. I knew squirrels were a thing, right? And technically, a chipmunk is like a glorified squirrel. And then Alvin and the Chipmunks came out, and I was like, ah, chipmunks have squeaky voices and they sing. That's what chipmunks are, right? Surely. I've been brain damaged. Chippendale. Chippendale is also actually one of them. You're right. We got squirrels, Nancy. The only chipmunks I know are Chippendale. There we go. Joy, thank you so much for encouraging me to let my cat out of the bag and fill the Discord of cuteness. We love you. And everyone for enjoying. Thank you for being willing to share your world with us. Your waking world with us, right? Yesterday, don't know what prompted it, but during the stream, I thought, what if melt evaporated and we all collectively woke up from a dream? Starts holding on to myself, please. Please stay in one piece. Don't evaporate, cells. Because I am mostly water, right? So technically I can evaporate. Right? Technically? Most of me can evaporate at least. Love is true. Squirrels torment my dog daily. I think that was in Secret Life of Pets, where the squirrels are like super evil, you know. They have like agendas or whatever, and that's why the dog hate them. If I don't remember something about someone, I just don't remember. Usually because of anxiety for one reason or another, right? That happens to me too. And I really tripped myself up. Like I remember once, this is like a long time ago, almost 5 years ago. We made friends with this group of friends. Like they were a group of friends, and then we met each other at like a dancing place, and then we decided to merge our friend groups. Unfortunately, the gears didn't really mesh that well because it was basically one of those intoxication friend groups where the only times you really see one another is when you're like taking psychedelics or essentially mostly smoking weed, right? You know the type of friendships. So we like once, decide we're going to go and visit this friend group, Eva chilling outside. And we get there and we like okay, so I'm a little bit scattered with this story. Before we went to this place, I had this conversation with one of these friends, and he was telling me about this new program he was basically, going through to give himself the skills so that he can like work on cars or whatever, right? And I knew this. I knew this because he told me it, right? And then me and my super blazed mindset, I ask him again what he's doing, right? Like, and it felt like the most embarrassed I've ever been in my whole life because he was like, one, kind of taken aback with me asking him that question because he knew that I knew the answer to his question. And as soon as I asked it, I knew the answer to my question. And then I instantly fell apart. Like I just melted. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know this. I'm so sorry. I do care about you, friend. I do care. Right? And like stuff like that, it at least in my mind, right, shows me the amount of importance that I place on knowing things and caring about people enough to remember things about them. I'll end up remembering hours later, exactly. Sometimes you're lucky if you only remember hours later because at least you're out of the cringe zone. If you remember on the spot, it is exceptionally more cringeworthy. Hey, Dad, sending you lovin's, bro. How's your programming going, man? I've been thinking about you a lot with that fractal. There have been a lot of animated squirrels, but they don't rise to the popularity of the chipmunks or the otters. What the fuck is this controversy? I think it's cuteness factor, right? I think it's a cuteness thing, right? Like the three little piggies. I mean, they're not cute, but they're not as cute as Chip and Dale, right? We do like cute things as human beings. If your friends haven't seen it, talking about otters, I think they're more seals technically. I mean, close enough, right? But go and watch Team Seal. It's a animated South African movie, I believe. It's pretty real, right? Like it's gonna be one of the more real animated movies you've ever seen, but really well made. Also, cute animals, right? They even make the sharks cute, even though they're still terrifying. I refuse to merge friend groups. My childhood bestie still gives me shit for it, but all personalities don't gel, and it's simpler for me to keep people separate, and there's no infighting. Yeah, I don't know if fighting was necessarily the problem. More so just compatibility, right? Like some friends are compatible. Like, and I find myself morphing a lot, where depending on the friend group I'm with, you show up in a different way. And I've tried to almost like consolidate the way that I show up in my friend groups, but it is a weird experience, if you find yourself occupying multiple different waking states, right? And you have to occupy those different waking states at the same time with multiple people around you, essentially. It's like being vulnerable, essentially. I actually learned a new automation testing framework called Cypress. I know Cypress yesterday. It's sick. Love to you, dude. Today I'm gonna start writing tests for my final project from the boot camp. Love you, bro. I'm proud of you for showing off of those skills, man. Sally Squirrel from Pete the Cat is super cute and has ADHD. Dan, just reading your sentence made my brain hurt. Yeah, right. You could also just supplement all the words Dan said with I actually learned a new smart yesterday. Dennis Smart. Love is true. Oh man, living in this world, waking up to it every single day. The importance we place, right? Maybe our dream space is supposed to be communicating to us why this world is important. Maybe we dream in order to be awake, right? Like the theory of the sleeping state being the primary one. I don't know if your friends have really spent some time thinking about that, but essentially, because of the time dilation effect of your dreams, you could potentially be experiencing more time in total dreaming than you actually do in the waking world, right? So you live these two lives, right? And like the type of being, the state of being you can occupy when you're dreaming is so odd sometimes. Like things that shouldn't be even remotely possible or normal, your brain can completely accept and make sense of it. Like, yeah, this is fine. I can push the air and then suddenly start floating off the ground. And there's nothing wrong with that. I talked about it in yoga as well. A lot of wind outside, as I mentioned. And I don't know if I've ever experienced wind in the dream space. Have you experienced wind? Because technically what's happening, at least in theory, is that your brain is basically creating this other reality, right? Simulating states of reality. And the fact that you can do that, the fact that you can regular other people in your mind, literally create consciousnesses, and then not only see their bodies, their physical forms, but have them talk to you in the way that you believe they would talk to you if you could have a conversation with them in a dream. It takes me on like a whole trip as well. But then at the same time, how much of that is lost, right? Is any of it lost, right? Thinking about the whole subconscious, how technically everything you've ever experienced is stored in your brain, right? And then thinking about the amount of time we spend dreaming. Like we spend 8 hours a night sleeping. A third of our existences on this planet is spent sleeping. And we do it every day without fail, essentially, or at least you're supposed to. The waking world. I feel like I'm in a weird dream state right now, weirdly enough, talking about dreams in this way. Let me see. Oh my goodness, I'm totally going to say I learned a smart from now on when I learn something new. Good thing I don't dream. You probably do. Couldn't handle two lives. You probably drew, right? I think everybody dreams. You might not actually store that information. Again, talking about our pets, right? Wondering if they remember their dreams, right? What the function of remembering your dreams are, because it might end up, causing dissonance. Like some people have such realistic dreams, it becomes hard for them to distinguish reality from their dreams, and that usually isn't the case for me. Like things are pretty ridiculous. And again, touching on the whole fractal of no wind. If it's only happening in my brain, technically my brain doesn't know what wind feels like. My body does, right? I felt wind on my skin, but I haven't felt wind on my brain, fortunately, right? I think I'll have bigger problems if I start feeling wind on my brain. Such a practical skill set. I need more automation. Don't you worry, Shell. More automation is coming your way quickly. It is tiring, Duck, but it can be very rewarding from time to time. This is true. Like I'll give a button an ID. Perhaps we call that ID button. But then I want to click with Cypress, so I write get button click, and now we told Cypress to click the button. Exactly, right? And you can like add ifs and thens to that as well, right? If I open my door, then press button that turns on my AC or whatever, right? Like there's so many ways to automate things right now. It's easier than it's ever been, and it's only going to get easier. Eventually, you wouldn't even know how to program, right? You'll just have a model. It's still going to serve you to know how to program, right? Because you'll understand how to solve problems in a way that it might be hard for you to explain what you want if you don't understand that problem-solving technique. But I'm proud of you, bro, for learning these skills, man. They're going to come in handy. As someone who doesn't remember their dreams almost ever, that's an interesting thought. Love is true. Thank you for going through this fractal with me, friends. Dan, I have a broken refresh button. If refresh, then refresh. If not refresh, then refresh anyway. I can use more commands to tell Cypress what we expect to happen when the button is clicked. Exactly. In my Excel, Dan, weird show. I know, I just use Alt plus F5. Everyone dreams. You'd go crazy without the REM state. Exactly. It's due for an update, Shell, all day. Melt day 966, now with more humming. I usually hum when I take an intermission, where I try to find where I was last in my chat. Cypress doesn't use if statements. It doesn't? The code we're testing uses the if statements, and then Cypress tests all the scenarios. Huh. I guess it's a little bit more manual then, right? Gonna do some legwork. Then part of the reason I like Chatbot is that I can, with the right commands, ask it to write a formula, which is simple. Does it much faster than I can, and then I can test it and figure out how it got there. Exactly. Most of my friends, literally all of my friends are programmers, like IRL friends. Heinrich, Johan, Christian, David. Those Those are like David and Heinrich are the two friends I kept from high school, and Christian and Johan are the friends that I met after high school, and all of them are developers. Now, brother Dennis as well. I believe Kristen as well. Nancy as well. Many of you friends are developers, and all of them use the new chat bots, right? ChatGPT as a means to help them program. Either that or they use GitHub Copilot. Have you been using AI in your workflow, Dan? So maybe an email sign up will check what happens when we enter a valid email, invalid email, and no email, and then run through all the potential scenarios. Okay, the programmer will anticipate the scenarios with their if statements. Then we will test every possible outcome of said statement with Cypress. So it's more like a gatekeeper, like an error detector or something. If they want any free tests, hit me up. Thank you, Brother Bear, for offering your services. I asked GPT to write journal entries for me. I don't want to take the time to think them through. I'm guessing Joy Vive is trolling right now. I see Shell laughing about it. Right, I write my own journal entries. You can give yourself context. For instance, ChatGPT, I want to write a journal entry. I'm going through this right now. What is a good question that I can ask myself to accentuate my understanding of what I'm going through? And then it gives you a question, and then you write that question down. I'm not trolling. And you write that question down, and then you journal, right? Because technically, the benefit of journaling, at least the way that I kind of perceive it, is getting the stuff inside of your brain out of it, to give yourself some space from it. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding what you're saying, but apparently the bots are getting stupider and less useful. They were for a while. They're turning back around at least again. They are more censored, right? So you can't do degenerate information with the ChatGPT platforms anymore, fortunately. I'm not a programmer, meant when I said a simple formula. Okay, it's okay. Sorry for misinterpreting. Definitely the bots are stupid. Yeah, I use ChatGPT to help debug when I'm stuck. There we go. I'm not trolling. I work in finance. A journal entry means something different to me. Sometimes I forget, sorry. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense as well. Yeah, a lot more sense, in fact. Mr. Shell immediately assumed you meant general ledger journal entries. Yeah, you friends being in that finance world, actually understands. He understands you, Joy. Love is true. On the same fractals, exactly. Words, right? The fact that even though we both occupy the same waking world, the same word can mean two completely different things to two completely different people. And the way we use our tools, being an attachment to that as well. That's why I don't think of these things as bad or like they're going to replace us. They're just going to accentuate, right? They're going to be partners to what it is we're trying to build. And again, right, this concept of power, that what true power is the ability to take something from thought and bring it into reality, right? And dreams is a certain type of power in that case. If you know how to lucid dream, you can literally do that in like an instance, right? And now it's almost like we're bringing that level of power that we've been dreaming about into our real world with these new tools. Coco saying, do you still go on Reddit, Meltmore? I deleted it off my phone. I go on Reddit mostly for, how can I say this? Fractals, right? The world's fractals, to be able to look into the world and see what's going on. But I don't post on Reddit much anymore, unfortunately. They really did make it hard to support the platform with their anti-people practices, essentially. Though, right? These things happen. I feel like I want to pull a card. I feel like my mind is scattered enough to accelerate this time frame a little bit. Melt, why are you inside today? It's windy outside, Nancy. It seems to have calmed down a little bit, but like while doing my yoga, I got like pretty winded. My hair was blowing on my face, and my scarf was going all over the place. So I put it down, and then I was thinking about this fractal of sitting in the wind and getting mangled by it, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't want any of that. So I came and sit inside. There's like a piece of outside. Look at that. We get like small sliver of outside at least. That ought to be at least for now. Okay, let's pull a card. It's 47 minutes past. I have 77% on that battery right now. Yumma yumma. This one. We haven't pulled this card in a long time. Like a long time. Like multiple months. And I feel like it was hiding from me because I was kind of mean to it. It's like it's a card that basically calls you to go and explore the outer world. And I usually be like, I'm stuck in here or whatever, right? Maybe there's like something there about, I wanted that card. This one, it is pretty cool card. The plant-based butter we use is called Melt's plant-based butter. Don't they call that margarine? Melt's nice. I'll be sure to sue them soon. I'm joking, please. I'm not really joking. I think the more the merrier. The more people that Melts, the better. We need to realize that we are super stuck in our egos. Look at them mountain apuses. Getting mountain apused. Let's see. Card number 23, Sacred Places and Earth Energies. This card honors sacred places around the planet, and here, the ancient city of Machu Picchu in Peru. It is recognized as a World Heritage Site and is revered as one of the most compelling and majestic sacred sites on the planet. You see, again, now I feel FOMO. I'm like, bruh, I'm missing out on all of this most sacred site in the world. Damn it. No, I get to be in the waking world. Everything, this whole waking world is sacred. Maybe that's the lesson I'm supposed to learn. The green, dome-shaped mountains that surround the peak on which Machu Picchu is built stirred my imagination and inspired this unconventional view of the city. The Andean people call these mountains Apus, which means mountain spirits. Communication with these great beings and the importance of preserving sacred sites guide this message. Hey, stop it. Stop licking your footsies. Okay. There are places around our planet that by cultural tradition, placement on the Earth grid, and by your own intuition will bring you into alignment with Earth energies, right? And again, that's the lesson I'm taking from this as well. Like literally just waking up into this waking world is your opportunity to, again, by your own intuition, bring you into alignment with Earth energies. Because if you're waking up, boom, Earth energy, right? You cannot not have Earth energy flowing through you because here you are. As you were called to these places of power, this body, you being in this world, a place of power, remember to always go in a sacred manner with respect for the people, for the friends, and the culture of the region. Recognize that you are called to journey to these regions and feel the spirit of place that resides there. You are connecting wisdom traditions, old and new, in a manner that can enhance your personal worldview, as well as aid in the reconnection of energy grids. Yeah. It's a cool card. But again, it gives me FOMO, yo. Now I want to go and visit Peru. Hey, Google. What are the visa laws for Peru in South Africa?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Liar. South African passport holders do not require a visa for a stay of up to 6 months. Passengers must, however, be in possession of a return air ticket and be able to produce proof of sufficient funds for the duration of the stay. So I can go to Peru. Let me hit this button that says flights. Going from Johannesburg, Johannesburg to Peru. Pichu. There we go. Search. Sure, I'll go next month. And then I'll come back. You'll see. That was too much. I'll come back a month later. Search, please. Oh! Oh, goodness. I almost had a heart attack for a second. $10,000? $10,000 for what? For what? Why $10,000? Why? Oh, let me just see if I can get another airport. Oliver Tambo. Bruh. O.R. Tambo. Thank you. That can't be right? Please tell me that's not right. Oh, please, sir, can you searchy? Yeah, well, doesn't seem to change. $10,000. Like, that's the cheapest price. 10,000. What the fuck? Oh, hell no. Now I'm like double FOMO. And now I have FOMO too. That's insane. Why is it so expensive? Right? I'm not freaking going to Mars. I just want to go to Peru. Melt fan meet up in Peru. No. Then I'm not paying $10,000. So I don't have $10,000 to pay. Never mind. Don't want to. Aren't there like 53 countries in Africa? What are you worried about, Marku? Go to Mauritius or Christian. I do want to do that as well. Hey, Google, what do the flights cost to Mauritius?
Sorry, I didn't
And
understand.
then liar! Stop lying to me. You understand exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, from Johannesburg. Yeah, these are cheap. These are okay. I can do that. All right, these flights are like, I mean, it's not that cheap. But 2 ways, it's like $500. Right? That sounds all right. $500 sounds a little bit better than 10,000 dollars. Yeah, that can be done. It's still a lot of money, right? That's like 2 months worth of saving essentially. But that can be done. Unfortunately, Christian has used up most of his vacation days, for a while now again. So I don't know if he's traveling anytime soon. Can you go to Peru and then from Peru to the US? Probably not. They still won't let me into your country. I am a risk factor. What do they call me? There's a word for me exactly. I am. I need to remember. Come on. Waking state. Lost. Essentially, they believe as soon as I put foot in the country, I'm never leaving again. That's what your country is worried about. That's why they don't let people in. If you're thinking he'll have an easier time getting here from South American country, you got bad news for you. Yeah, unfortunately. I was thinking the same thing. Peru, love is true. Snap. On your pilot's caps, guys, we're going to Peru. I'd rather go to South Africa than Peru, but we all got different travel goals. Exactly. I just found a round trip flight for 750 Johannesburg to Lima. I'm guessing that's also a place there. Maybe just because Machu Picchu is so popular, they have like absolutely ridiculous prices like that. But $10,000? Excuse me? Why? For what? Why $10,000? And it's like a 44-hour flight. So there's gonna be multiple layovers as well. Imagine having to travel for 44 hours to get somewhere, right? Like it sounds like a nightmare. I asked Siri to find the cheapest flight. Love is true. I think I can dupe the US. One can dream. I'll meet you guys in Mauritius. Yeah, just stuff it into a banana box and ship him there. Like a hot chicken when my name is Earl. Mail order. Melt. Works, right? I can make a whole video about it. Mail order melt. $500 round trip. Man, holler at your boy, that's cheap. I mean, yeah, like I don't really have that to spend right now on just like casual traveling, but at least it's doable, right? It's not an impossibility in my mind. Searching for cheap flights is an art, it really is. It is, but there's no free lunch these days because they're all charging for seats and luggage and snacks. Some trips. Alone, you can dupe US Jovan, but together we can unlock the secret. Join me. With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy. You're getting me hype, bro. Sounds like a good thing to me. Bring your own snacks. Sorry you can't afford to fly either place. Saving money for trip next year. Melters unite. Love is true. Fortunately, we got the interwebs. Yeah. How about that? I don't even have to travel to connect with my homies all over the world. Get wrecked airplanes. I'm in America right now. Me on a American TV screen, being like, yeah, I'm in America. Again, people were like, what's he doing? I'm so sorry. Let's play some Kalimba, shall we? Finish a day stream off with some calm. I figured something new out. It's possible for me to feed audio directly into the stream, like music, essentially. So there's a way for me to get perfect lossless audio onto stream, but I don't know if it's possible for me to do it both ways, right? Having one that goes into the microphone and have it Bluetooth broadcast. Maybe there's an app for it or something, but we'll see next week. I'm gonna think about it. Gonna try and find a solution to the problem because I do want you friends to have some better audio quality as well when it comes to the dancing streams. Alrighty then. Let's see. My timer, 3 minutes 33 seconds, and starting. Something go drop. Man, my mind went through so many things playing today. Pippi started the whole kalimba off with chewing her feet again, and I was like, I really dislike the sound of chewing flesh. Like, it doesn't sit well with me. But I guess it's a part of the waking world, right? More to be grateful for. Silence at the end of the day. I wish I was half as happy to be here as Melt is when he thinks about the US. I mean, again, and I keep saying this to you, Joy Vive, I don't care about America in and of itself. I care that you friends are there, right? Like, if I come to America, I'm not going to be happy to be like, oh, yay, America. No. I'm going to be like, oh, yay, Joy Vive. Oh, yay, Shannon. Oh, yay, Jovan. Oh, yay, Doc Dad, Uncle Becky, etc., right? Like, that is what I would be happy about. Like, no country has anything of value, technically, other than the value you bring to it. And I feel like we all bring value to it, right? And there's a lot of you friends that live in America. So you, in my mind, bring a lot of value to being in America, in my mind. Joy to the Netherlands to visit a high school friend. Hopefully see my grandson who is living in Norway. That sounds like so much fun. Blessings to you. Where are you planning? It's why it's called a dream, because we'd have to be asleep to believe it. Yeah, that's hilarious. Hey, Joe Schmo. I was thinking about you playing today, bro. It's nice seeing you here, man. Why are you planning to travel next year, Nancy? I think you've already let us know. To the Netherlands, Minneapolis, mid-September, to see my second bestie. Love is true. Just in time for Kalimba and coffee. Perfect time, bro. Sounds like a good time. Yeah, looking forward to it. Was going to go right before COVID hit. Thank you for your sign off yesterday message. It warmed my heart so much. Made me smile. Was hiking back home listening to the stream. Love you, friend. So much love. I'm sharing some things to you in Discord, clips and music information about Norway. I think you'll enjoy. Bless. Your words are always in my heart, Shan. Love is true. Thank you, friends. Like, my mind is thinking about metronomes right now, weirdly enough. Right? Thinking about if I can play better, if I have a metronome running or something. Thinking about how I can improve the kalimba space as well. Because in my mind, I feel like it's not enough now. It's like, we've kalimba'd so many times after stream. Now we have to step it up again. There we go. There's our Shan message. Going, have the most beautifulest day, everyone. I sincerely love you all so, very, very superest, duperest, enormously, extremely, hulkingly, humongously, oceanically, mammothly, monstrously, dearly, Melt, and all of you oh so very wonderfully, incredibly, amazingly, flabbergastingly, piercingly, fiercingly, fantastically, smashingly, invigoratingly, gorgeously radiant, magically precious friends. As we love you, dear Shan. Thank you for sending these messages. Even though you weren't here yesterday, our friends honoring you with theirs. It's a pleasure having you here sharing that loving again with all of us. You know, taking a dump on Crown Land is on my bucket list, Joy. Just starting to type another one just in case you weren't here. Love is true. Like LA could show me her altar, and I would go to the expo with Zano. I love you. Your goals time. Love is true. Drive by Yowski Bop. Hi and goodbye. We're just about ending the stream as well. Brother Gab. So it's nice having you here for even a moment, bro. Stupendously, tremendously. Lovingly. Never begrudgingly. Pleasantly. Sometimes surprisingly. Joyously. Showing up for you, friends. Joy Vive. That would be awesome. We could also mountain climb with Kelly in the Rockies and Natalie on the East Coast. 100%. Your friends bring me so much joy to my life. Really, you all mean so much to me. Love is true, right? The fact that we have created a waking world for ourselves where we have this connection. Like, it could have been our dream to have a community, right? To have people that care about us in the way that we do. And we made that dream our waking world. Acknowledge that. Recognize that that is the world we're creating right now. Oh, Crown land dumping? I'm guessing that's England. Want to have a party and use images of stolen artifacts as paper mache for a piñata. That's hilarious. Suspenders and trombones. Yeah, I definitely want to get invited, not to come back to Canada. Love is true. My battery's on 74%, of course. And I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me again. We have little Shelby chilling. Yeah, Shelby, Shelby. Hey, Shelby, Kikey. He's like, what you calling to me? Come close. I'm underneath the table. Yeah, Shelby, Shelby. But he's gonna be like, what? Are you giving anyone else attention? Yeah, Shelby, Shelby. Who's it, Kikey, Kikey? Meow, this. Like, what? What's happening here now? what's this happening here? What? You trying to give somebody else attentions? Don't you dare. I love you, friends. Thank you for joining me again, for sharing this moment. I'll see you again soon, tomorrow. Sending you eternal blessings until we do this again. Goodbye, everybody. Love you. Cheers.